Hello everybody, this is Matthew Armstrong on day 16 of our 90-day challenge, transformation from mediocrity to mastery. And it's a pleasure to be with you on this Saturday evening, as it is for me, wherever you are in the world, whether you're watching this live. That's great, wonderful. It's always great to be there live, isn't it? There's something different about it. Well, that's one of the reasons I wanted to do this live, is that there's just something more compelling, right? Something more real about seeing something live, or being able to communicate with me live as well, and that's a great thing. So, you know, if anyone actually wants to come on these, I can actually bring you on as a guest. You can ask some questions. You know, if you're authentic and you have some relevant questions for me, I can actually bring you on this and ask me a couple of questions or something. You're welcome to do that. Yeah, so if you're watching this live, that's great. If not, then see if you can tune in live whenever you can. It's a good thing. It's good for me. When I see, the more people I see on this, it makes me want. Okay, I think we're back on track now. Let's see. Yes, Cindra's had a power cut there, which obviously knocked us off. So let me just see if we're working again. 1 second. Okay, I think we're back on track now. Let's see. Yes, Cindra's had a power cut there, which obviously knocked us off. Okay, cool. So we're definitely live again. That's the thing with doing live stuff, right? You know, that stuff can happen. And when stuff happens, you remain cool, have a drink of molasses, and then carry on from where you left off. Yeah, I'm doing live stuff because it's a bit of a stretch for me. I'm well used to making videos, even doing different live events, but to do a live call every single night and commit to that's also a stretch as well. And it's also a stretch that I'm not. I'm basically improving. I'm improving. I decided I wanted to improv everything. I didn't want to have anything sort of scripted or laid out. I just clear my mind, and some things come to me during the day. I want to talk about that, but I literally just clear my mind before the call, and I just ask for wisdom to come through and to be able to serve, and I go through a little ritual, and I do that. Yeah. So that's what I'm doing. You know, I believe it's important to get out of our comfort zone. Somebody asked me a question, and they said, you know, why at the end of your emails do you sign off as the Dragon Slayer? What's that all about? And you know, a lot of people I've known have given themselves AKAs, aliases, or whatever over the years. I've seen different people do it in different fields and whatever else, you know. And I never did it because I thought, well, if something doesn't really come to me strongly, then I'm not going to just start making up some name for myself, you know. And so I didn't do it for many, many years. And then it actually just came to me very strongly. It was like something said to me, "You're the Dragon Slayer." And all of a sudden, everything all these pieces came together, and I saw the dragon as, and it's not that I really slay dragons for real. It's a metaphor, right? You know, there's a quote from Rumi, and Rumi said, "Your greatest fears are like dragons guarding your greatest treasure." And you know, that's a really interesting thing. You know, your greatest fears are like dragons guarding your greatest treasure. So if you want to take your greatest treasure, if you want to have the greatest treasure you could possibly have in your life, then you have to slay those fears. You have to slay those dragons. So it's really a metaphor, right? And that's how I see myself. I see myself as a slayer of fears. And the dragon is a symbol of that, because the dragon is the most terrifying mythical creature that there is, right? It's the apex predator. There is nothing higher up on the ladder than a dragon, you know. So to be able to slay the dragon, that's like slaying your greatest fear. So like a lot of myths that have come to us over the ages aren't necessarily all true and like happen like maybe this is happening right now. They're stories, they're metaphors in which we can learn from. It's a form of learning, right? And so I also like to sometimes talk in metaphors and things, because we can get things on quite often a deeper unconscious level when that happens, and things that they stick and we remember them, right? And so to be able to slay your fears, to face your fears and conquer your fears, that is going to reveal to you your greatest treasure. And I made a decision, I don't know when it was, but maybe it's just something that was always in me. I just always said, as far back as I can remember, that I'm not going to let my fear stop me. Sure, growing up I had plenty of insecurities, like many kids and teenagers do. Maybe some more, you know, than some people have, you know, for sure. I had a number of issues that I certainly had to get over. I had to break through, and like for example, one of them was public speaking. I had to break through that fear. I had a complete mental block on it. My mind would just go blank completely whenever I got to speak. So this is swinging, you know, full. This is the other side of things right now, where I'm just deciding to improv everything and speak and to see how it goes, you know, and do it live as well, and have people be able to tune in all around the world. So yeah, this is another where I'm really getting the remnants of this fear completely gone now. And anything in my life I've looked at, I thought, okay, I'm not going to let fear stop me. I'm not going to let fear stop me. I'm going to break through that fear, whatever it is. And so a lot of the things I've done in my life seem like I did them because I was fearless or something. No, I did them because I had fears. That's why I did a lot of things I did. I did them because I had fears. I wanted to break through my fears. So by doing them, you know, a lot of people look at people that have great achievements. They think, oh, that person's fearless. No, they just decided they were going to break through their fears, right? So, you know, what are your greatest fears? Your greatest fears, you know, that are not. We're not talking about, oh, I'm really afraid of water buffalo stampeding over me. You know, I have nightmares about it. You know that that makes no difference to your life. You know, it's, unless you want to be a cowboy or something, it's going to stop you from being a cowboy. You know, or whatever. No, it's like what's stopping you? You know, what do you truly want in your life? And then what are the things that are stopping you? The fears that are stopping you, right? What are they? The fear of being ridiculed, the fear of looking stupid, the fear of standing out and, you know, being wrong or whatever, the fear of rejection, the fear of failure, the fear of not being liked. You know, quite often our fears are, you know, what other people will think or stuff like that, you know, or the fear of going bankrupt or not having any money or being desolate, being homeless, whatever, you know. I decided to get over those fears. And so, yeah, there's many things I did in my life that I was just to get over the fears. I'm not something that stop me. And, you know, how do you get over your fears? You know, quite often the way to get over fears and to build up your confidence of different things is just to do them. It's just to face them head on and do them. You know, I had a fear of confrontations. And even though I was quite proficient in the martial arts many years ago, and even though I had been a Royal Marines commando, an elite soldier in operational circumstances that had people shoot at me with AK-47s and point them in my face and stuff like that, and I was able to handle those situations, you know, fine. But then I still found that in a confrontation that could turn into a violent confrontation, I still had these fears coming up. I said, I want to conquer those. I want to conquer that. So that's what I did. I went and I got a job working as a bouncer, and I worked in the roughest places that I could find, and to get over those fears. So I was getting like numerous confrontations every night. And I remember at the start, for the first few months, every night I went into work, I knew I was going to be having confrontations. I used to have butterflies in my stomach, you know, even just going into work at night, knowing that, yeah, there's going to be some confrontation. Somebody might take a swing at me tonight, things like that. And that happened on a regular basis, you know, a few times a night usually, sometimes more. I had to evict people and things like that. And after 6 months, it was just gone. After 6 months, I just had no more fear of confrontation, because I'd kind of, by that time, I'd seen it all shapes and sizes, all types, and by facing those fears and facing them over and over again, I finally conquered them. This is the same with public speaking. You know, once or twice public speaking may not do it, but you do it over and over again, and suddenly it's just like, okay. You know, when I was in the Royal Marines, we used to take the Marines to do abseiling over cliffs, and sometimes we took them into this aircraft hangar. Was a boat hangar where they built boats. We used to take them up to the ceiling of this, along this little thing, and it was a few hundred foot all the way down. I think at least 200 foot, maybe more. And it was quite scary. It was this big open space, and you're just going straight down the middle on this little thin rope, you know. And at the start, they come up, you see the fear in their face. They're scared, but you clip them in and everything, and then send them off, and then what we used to get them to do was just do it over and over again. As soon as they get to the bottom, go back up the steps, all the way up, across the beams, and then we'd send them down again. At the end of the day, they'd done it so many times that the fear was gone. In fact, at the end of the day, they were actually just bored. They're just bored of doing it. It's like, okay, again, clip. Obviously, ensure safety and everything, but it's just like, okay, we've done this a million times, so like, we have to do it again. You know? So if you want to get over your fears, sometimes it's just doing something over and over and over again until it just becomes second nature, it becomes habitual, it becomes even boring, you know, where you become totally satiated with it. You know, sometimes that's a way of getting over fears, you know. So that's why I call myself the Dragon Slayer, because I'm just like, no, I'm stubborn. I'm just like, no, fear is not going to stop me. You know, when it comes to, I will dig my heels in. I'll say no. And I'll look at it, and hopefully as I'm speaking, it's reflecting on yourself. You know, because you're watching this because you're seeing things in me that are also in you, and that will be the case. And by me telling you these stories, you will also be able to see where they apply in your life and how you can learn from them, because it is through story that we tend to learn the best. So I hope you can appreciate that. Okay, so we're going to carry on reading from our book, The Values Factor, by Dr. John Demartini. If this is, by the way, if this is your first training you're watching with me, then please go to, well, please, after you finish watching this, complete watching this one, and then go to day one and watch day one, all on my YouTube channel, Be Your Potential in sequence, right? And apart from day 12, which we uploaded to a different channel by mistake, and then had to upload it again a few days later, so that's not in order. But you can go to drdemartini.com and check out about Dr. Demartini's work and get his book, and you can also get his book on Amazon. If you're following this program here right now, then you need this book. Simple as that. Did you do your exercise yesterday? I have a confession to make. I did not do my exercise, but I will do it. I will do it by tomorrow, so please hold me accountable to that. And if you haven't done it, make sure you also hold yourself accountable to it, right? So here we go, continuing our reading from the book. We're on page 105, Freeing Yourself from Delusion. Recently, I was giving a seminar in Australia, and a woman approached me as it ended. Dr. Demartini, she said to me, I am so inspired by everything you've said, but I still don't know what my purpose is. I don't believe you, I told her. Your life automatically demonstrates your present life's purpose. So what is your life demonstrating? What you do every day, or nearly every day? What is it that you love doing and nobody ever has to remind you to do? But I don't have a career or vocation or a mission or any of these things you talk about, she protested. I don't run a business. I haven't even completed a college degree. All I do every day is take care of my children. So I asked her, do you love taking care of your children? Her face lit up. Oh, yes. Well, then I asked her, is that your mission? Is that your present life purpose? Raising a beautiful family expresses your highest value, and at least until your children are grown, that sounds like your current inspired destiny. She began to cry. That's all I ever wanted to do, she said. I always dreamed of raising a beautiful family, and now I'm doing it. But compared with running a business or going back to school or having a great career, it doesn't seem like much. I told this woman that her sense of inferiority and inadequacy was only because she was comparing her highest values with someone else's, injecting their values into her life and clouding over her own. I then told this woman that she reminded me of Rose Kennedy, who once said that she had dedicated her life to raising a family of world leaders. That was our mission, I said. And your family is yours. Your life is clearly demonstrating that right now. Of course, if you want to change your mission, you can, but then you'll have to change your highest values. Because every single day of your life, your values, your highest values are going to dictate your mission and inspired destiny. My student went away inspired about the choices she had made and about the realization that the whole time she had actually been on track. Her questions reminded me of a common delusion that many people have. They see mission, purpose, and values as something outside themselves, something they have to be forced, motivated, or disciplined to do. Then they beat themselves up for thinking that they don't have what they say they want or for not doing what they think they should. It doesn't work like that. Your highest values will ultimately determine your actions. What you do is by definition what you consciously or unconsciously want to do. Every action you take reflects what's most important to you. If you say, I would love to play with my kids, but I have to go to work or else I'll get fired. What you're really saying is, it's more important to me to have a job and bring in some income and provide my family with some financial security than it is to play with my kids. If you say, I would love to spend this afternoon reading a book and just relaxing, but I have to go to a family dinner at my parents' house, then what you're really saying is, I value pleasing my parents and my family and maintaining a relationship with them more than taking time for my reading myself. What you actually do reveals what is most important to you. So your first step in living your inspired destiny is freeing yourself from your delusions and being honest about what you're really deciding and doing. Seeing the truth clearly means not deluding yourself about what you're actually doing or what you would truly love to do. For example, my student in Australia really wanted a beautiful family and her actions reflected that. But she had deluded herself into thinking that she should have a career, run a business, or go back to school. She then beat herself up for not living according to what she thought her destiny should be, when she was actually living by it all along. Her highest values revolved around family and children, and she was absolutely fulfilling those values. On the other hand, sometimes we spend a lifetime attempting to subordinate our highest values to someone else's, and that is absolutely not fulfilling. We delude ourselves into thinking that we are living according to our highest values, but really we have attempted to subordinate our values to someone else's. We will definitely find it more fulfilling to claim our own highest values and live accordingly. I once worked with a man who had spent his entire life up to that point trying to please his father and attempting to subordinate his second and third highest values to the highest values of his dad. Having his dad be proud of him was extremely important to him. It was apparently his highest values. This man, whom I'll call Antonio, had gone to law school and business school because that's what his father said he had wanted. He had married the woman his father wanted him to marry. He lived in the part of the country that his father wanted him to live in. His entire life was organized around getting his father to acknowledge him and congratulate him for his accomplishments. Of course, most of this was unconscious. Antonio had little idea that he was living to please his father. He was so out of touch with his own second and third highest values that he didn't even realize he had subordinated them. He just kept plugging away, trying to get his dad to say, "Great job." Eventually, Antonio's father retired, and Antonio took over his dad's business, again trying to please his father. But his father seldom gave Antonio approval in the way that Antonio sought, and a few years later, after retiring, the father died. Suddenly, the business that Antonio was running faced the unexpected. It turned out that there were substantial outstanding debts associated with the company, a fact that came out when the company was audited. A few months later, the company went under, and Antonio was bankrupt. His wife took the kids and left him. His friends shunned him. So did the rest of his family. Antonio had already been struggling with obesity and hypertension. The added strain was too much for him, and he experienced a nearly fatal heart attack. At this point, broke, in debt, alone, in poor health, Antonio felt close to suicide. It seemed that his whole life had come crashing down around him. Seeking help for his health problems, Antonio came to me. After hearing his whole story, I thought for a moment. Then I said, "It sounds to me as though the day your business went bankrupt was the greatest day of your life." "What?" Antonio stared at me. He couldn't tell whether I was joking, stupid, or just plain cruel. "Antonio," I said, "that life you had before, was that really the life you wanted? Was it fulfilling? Was it inspiring? Did you wake up every day inspired about what you were going to get to do?" Despite his outward display of misery, Antonio had to laugh. "No," he said, "of course not." "So it was very obvious that you unconsciously didn't want to be trapped in that dynamic," I told him. "And look at you now. You're out of a relationship you didn't want to be in, with a woman you no longer have affection for, if you ever did. Because of the bankruptcy, you don't even have to pay her large sums of money, even though you're together for more than 20 years. You have a chance to start over, to do anything you would love to do. You're completely free, and you have nowhere to go but up. So what is it you would love to do?" Antonio stared at me blankly. It had been so long since he had considered his own second and third highest values that he could barely remember what they were. Yet now that his dad had passed away, these second and third highest values were finally emerging as his very highest values. "What would you love to do?" I asked him, just as I had asked the woman in Quebec City and the woman in Australia. A tiny spark came into Antonio's eyes. "Ever since I can remember, I loved repairing and fixing up fast, fancy sports cars," he said. "But I can't see how I could make a living from that." "Why not?" I asked him. "What's stopping you?" Slowly, Antonio realized that, in fact, nothing was stopping him. With his father gone, there was no one to tell him what to do, whom to marry, or where to live. So he moved to Florida and began a business of recycling and upgrading classic cars, and he loved it. He was finally building a business around what he loved to do. As he claimed his present highest values, everything else in his life began to change. He stopped wearing the formal suits that had been part of his old life and began dressing in more casual clothes that made him feel more comfortable and more confident, because now he felt like himself. He realized that his obesity had been a shield against the woman he hadn't really wanted to be with. So now he was free to lose weight, which he did. His heart health improved, and so did his romantic life. He began a fulfilling partnership with a new woman who valued Antonio for what he was, not for how much money he made. Antonio had come to realize that his illnesses, his financial challenges, and his marital discord were all signs that he had continually attempted to live according to his own highest value, which was pleasing his dad. All his efforts had been to no end, since his father seldom provided the feedback he so desired. Meanwhile, he was repressing his second and third highest values and inner truth, so his unfulfillment took its toll. Antonio's first step then was to free himself from his delusion and unrealistic expectation, to realize that his primary duty was not to subordinate any of his values to his father's, but rather to live his own unique and inspired destiny. From that point on, his life became far more fulfilling because he was finally fulfilling his own newly emerged highest values. Remember, your highest values are most fully expressed by what you spontaneously do. If you have to look to some kind of outside motivation to get you going, the activity is not really important to you for what you truly love, care about, or find important. You require no outside motivation whatsoever. You don't need outside motivation to eat, sleep, or jump out of the way of a runaway truck. And you don't need outside motivation to fulfill your highest values. Whatever seems most important to you is what you will spontaneously do. Why do people fall into their delusions? Because they keep injecting the values of other people into themselves, subordinating their own higher values to those of others. Then they think they should be doing something that they don't really find important. Their fantasies and delusions about what their mission should be keep them from appreciating what their mission truly is. All right, so I think we'll end the reading at that there this evening. As always, awesome stuff. You know, I'm sure you can see it goes far beyond the old like motivation, pump up sort of thing. This is just this is really aligning with our heart's desires, right? And not needing the outer motivation to be able to move forward with that in our lives. So we'll finish it up there for this evening. I truly appreciate you being here. The air conditioning went off and the electric went off, and now I'm just like totally sweating. It's the middle of summer, it's hot. I was on the beach today swimming in the sea, it was beautiful. I've got to a place where I'm living where I want, pretty much doing what I want most of the time. Pretty much all the time, I think, actually. Yeah, pretty much all the time. I'm always doing what I want. It's simple as that. I am. It's great. I'm pretty much doing everything I want to do. When I truly realize it, sometimes I look at the faraway goals and things and think I'm not where I want to be. But everything's going very well. And I've got to thank a lot of the teachers that I've learned from over the years, including Dr. Demartini, for discovering many things about myself and who I am, and how to show up in the world. So that's us for this evening. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, if you want to join our team, you can by clicking the link below. If you want to be able to live where you want in the world and create an income from home, you can do that. You click on join my team, and that would be great. And If not, just get on my list, click on the link, put your details in, get on my list, and then you'll receive the updates of when these calls are happening. I'm thinking of changing the times of these live hangouts to morning time. This is going to be even more challenging for me in one respect, because I'm generally not so much of a morning person. I'm generally slightly more subdued in the morning. So, but have you ever heard the expression of eat the frog, right? It means do the hardest thing first, you know, of your day. When you've got your thing set out for you, what you're going to do that day, what's the most challenging thing? What's the hardest thing? Do that first. Once it's out of the way, everything becomes much easier, right? For me, this is actually probably the thing that plays in my mind the most, doing these live hangouts every night and getting, because I'm quite often out in the evening times and then getting home in time to be able to get set up and everything. And then it's sometimes if we're out and socializing and things, it kind of upsets that dynamic, because it's in the back of my mind, you know. So I'm thinking about starting doing these in the morning time instead. So that would be 5:30 a.m. London time. Would be doing that whatever time that is for you in the world. Let us know in the comments. Would that suit you? You know, maybe you want to get up early and do it. So if you're in Europe, you can get up early and do it, or if you're in the US, you might not want to watch it live unless you want to stay up later. For those on the West Coast, well, it's going to be evening time. For those on the East Coast, it might be a bit late, so then you can watch it first thing in the morning. Might also, I think, work for my friends in Australia. So it might work out if I start doing them at 5:30 in the morning London time, and then it's like me eating the frog, and then after that I'm like, okay, I've done the most probably the most valuable thing that day, the thing that plays my mind the most, and everything else is more sort of routine. So I'm thinking about starting that Monday morning. Let me know in the comments. Would that suit you? I want to hear from you. Okay, that's it from me. Have a wonderful Saturday evening, or whenever you're watching this, whenever it is. Okay, take care.